Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special episode of the Geek First Podcast. I am the Feige loving, MCU loving Tristan.
Oh yeah, Feige bucks all around. I'm Adam Hartcaster, Dylan Muss.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not tuned in to anything else we've done, go check it out. We did our draft. Which our Infinity War Saga rankings are doing really well. We were they actually.
What day did you release that?
That was the morning of the stream.
Okay,
I did that so people would watch the stream.
So about just over a day, I guess.
Which thank you for watching the stream because we've had over the whole stream we had about over 400 people tune in, so pretty good. So that was fun. So thank you for checking it out. We had tons of fun. We're gonna do a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 review. I guess we've been talking about it for weeks, I could just quickly say I loved it, and I think Dylan's in that camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a full-on review. Very excited about that. We did our draft. We did our Saga ranking. Thanks for listening to that. Yeah, we were in like top iTunes 100. I was crazy because I was not watching any stats. I was like, I didn't know if I could. Like, wow. So it's all been leading to this though, just like Endgame. We knew this panel was happening.
There's always something around the bend with Feige. Yeah.
So
something under the cap, you could say.
I wanted to talk about this movie by movie, like when they come out, that like the schedule they released. Sure. I do want to start though with Blade because I'm just so hyped.
Let's do it.
And that actually didn't get dated, so it's kind of fine. I cannot believe we're living in a world where Mahershala Ali is playing Blade, and he is a 2-time Academy Award winner, and it's just the perfect casting I didn't think would ever happen. I couldn't believe that was there. And I guess we could actually talk about these ones first because Feige had like a one more thing. He said we're developing. He said Fantastic Four. We're developing Captain Marvel and Black Panther 2, which we'll talk about later because they weren't on this slate, which just surprised me. Yep. And then he said the word mutants, and people are kind of running with these articles that are saying that they're renaming the X-Men mutants. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but he did confirm that. But then,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the MCU has always been kind of interesting with how they name. Like how they name drop like a superhero's actual name, and right. Yeah. So I could see the like people in the world referring to something as mutants, and instead of like the X-Men or something, or maybe it'll come to be, maybe it'll form. Who knows? But interesting either way that they have. I guess they haven't really officially said X-Men, but
yeah,
that it's clear. It's clearly in their bucket list at some point. So
yeah, we're with every time Feige's been asked, he's been like, "Oh, years away, right?" But the fact that they're talking about Phase 4 and he name dropped them all, and the only reason I bring that up because we have heard rumors that they might not go with the word like the title X-Men, right, for just different reasons. Yeah, I think one for like just diversity. I think also just to maybe distance themselves from the other movies. You know.
Yeah, of course they like to put their MCU twist on things, right?
Yeah, so that's exciting, and then even Fantastic Four being in development, I think there's a chance that we might get these kind of sprinkled in now that he said mutants, that they're going to be sprinkled in throughout the movies before they even get their own movies now that he's talking about them in their phase instead of announcing a movie.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So like maybe we'll see, I don't know, a Charles Xavier pop up somewhere, or even a Reed Richards. Maybe you see Reed Richards before he goes to space and gets all messed up, right? Maybe he's just a smart scientist dude helping the Avengers. So.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was exciting.
That'd be sweet.
And then I guess, I guess it shouldn't surprise me because Black Panther and Captain Marvel came out so recently, like it feels so long ago, but Captain Marvel was this year and Black Panther was last year, so I guess that makes sense why they're further away. I think Yumi kind of agreed that I thought they were going to I thought they were going to rush.
I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming to Far From Home wasn't that long of a time, right?
2 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they were going to do that same sort of thing, it wouldn't be out of the, well, at least for Black Panther, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that would be coming out next year, possibly, but yeah, I guess they're going to wait a little bit. It seems like that. I think that's a good way to start off this new phase. I mean, they're doing it with, possibly Black Widow, but then some new stuff, right? So they want to change things up, I guess. Yeah,
because I was on your bandwagon. I thought they were going to rush Black Panther 2 in production, just like it got nominated for an Oscar, made all that money. But they do. We're going to talk about it. They look like they got a full slate, but then just back to Blade. That was so they do like, oh yeah, we're developing Fantastic Four, this, and then like they do their E3 one more thing, and Mahershala Ali walks out stage. And that's just crazy. What are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts? I don't know where to start.
It's so Blade. Here's my history with Blade. We did a retrospective. Go back and listen to that of the Blade trilogy. I don't really care much for those movies. I'll probably never rewatch them. I don't really like them. But I love Blade from the animated Spider-Man show. So go check out that. We did a retro on all of that as well. And he's really fun in the Ultimate Alliance games. He's coming to Ultimate Alliance in September. So I'm pretty hyped on the character, and I'm really into that. But also, Mahershala Ali, I mean, one, he's already been in something Marvel. He's been in Luke Cage as a villain, and he was fantastic in that show. Yeah. So it's interesting from that perspective. Yeah, we have got fucking all of the bases covered in this one.
If you want to hear what we think about like the last 4 years of geek stuff, we got it covered. And
apparently, like in relation to this Blade announcement, we just have every single base covered. It's kind of interesting.
We did the retro too early, damn it! But we'll re-release it when it comes out.
I don't want to rewatch them, so just go back. I think it's interesting that. I don't think Feige was necessarily trying to stay away from using actors from the TV show, but it's cool that maybe these people can be recast and reused. Yeah. Gives me maybe some faith that they'll bring in some of the people like now that Daredevil and all that is canceled. Maybe they could bring those guys in to a bigger role. I don't know how much they'll do with that because I think his character in Luke Cage was a smaller character just for a few episodes before he spoiler isn't really around anymore.
Yeah. It's been out for 3 years.
I don't know. I like whatever that is. We'll find out in the future, I guess. But I think that's awesome. Like that is perfect casting.
Yeah.
He I can just picture him with the little fucking glasses on and everything. He is gonna be so good. And after watching Green Book, which came out last year, was it? One of the Oscar films from last year. He is fantastic in that movie as well. So I am just in love with him. And to have him behind Blade, just gives me so much faith that this is gonna be amazing. And I love it because it's like that's gonna dip more into some really fucking weird stuff for the MCU, right? Like, yes, Doctor Strange and really whatnot is weird, but this is like vampires and monsters. Like, this is changing the whole landscape potentially. I'm beyond excited.
That's exactly because I was saying to Emily that, and I want to talk about that too. That I honestly never thought we'd get a Blade MCU movie. I thought that was TV show for sure. I thought that was Hulu or
that's a good point. Yeah,
when Netflix was going, I thought, for sure we're gonna get a Blade show one day. I just thought the character, he is a bigger character, but I just felt in the echelon, especially they just got all these Fox characters, they would be, we don't need to use Blade. And even just the world of, I was like, they're going to do a movie in the MCU about vampires. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. I would not, this Blade movie pick reminds me of when we found Morbius was going to be Alton Alliance. We were like, that's so weird, but it's awesome. The same thing with this. Like, I would have never predicted. And Mahershala Ali it just sounds like a fan cast that everyone would be like, oh, that'd be great, but it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I could definitely see us if we ever did have Blade as one of the characters in our fan casts, he would be #1 pick.
It's just one of those just perfect casting. We're like, this is perfect, but it's too perfect to happen. He's already done Marvel, and even then, he's won 2 Academy Awards, which maybe that's why he's like, I'm just gonna go make some money now. Like you look at Brie Larson. I've said this always, Feige. He likes his Oscar winners because I think he just wants good actors leading his franchise, right? And that guy's proven. So it's just like we're gonna talk about this whole entire phase, but if you would have asked me in the morning or maybe at sometime in the stream, like, hey, if they make a Blade MCU movie, would that be one of your most anticipated movies? I'd be like, oh, I'd be really excited, but I don't know about that. Now it's like top 3. I'm like, I can't wait to see Blade in the MCU. Yeah. Mahershala Ali, that's nuts. Yeah. That's crazy. And
it's super weird. So it's going to be like a solo movie. Do you what kind of characters from the comic books do you think would be maybe someone would be in that movie that would introduce the character? Because I don't know, my knowledge on the Blade, the character on the lore-wise, is pretty limited.
The weird thing is, I guess I just, for years, have taken Blade of the MCU so much, it's mind-boggling right now trying to think of anybody. If I'm trying to think MCU, I would have thought Doctor Strange just because he's dealing weird stuff. But because of that movie, which we'll talk about, I don't think so. Yeah. He's had stuff with Spidey, but I don't think that's it. But
oh, God, Tom Holland.
Imagine if that's
that would be something.
Imagine if that's the person hunting down Spidey in Spider-Man 3 is... but you know what? Sometimes he's in New York. I don't know because it's weird. Because I would have said maybe... Honestly, what I would have said is Spider-Man 3 might be setting up Morbius, and that's how you bring in Blade. But Jared Leto's doing a Morbius movie, so that's not it. This also, I'm still thinking about this. I'm just saying characters. This also gives me faith that we may actually see a Moon Knight movie one day, because it's crazy. But I'm trying to think. I
was thinking about that Ultimate Alliance pack, right? It's like Punisher, okay, he had the TV show. Yeah. Blade is getting this. Morbius gets a fucking movie. Like, where's Moon Knight? Oh, yeah, come on, Moon Knight. Where are you?
I don't think there's any characters in the MCU yet that could introduce Blade, and I don't even know. Because in Endgame, we had everybody come over, but I feel like Blade is going to be the way Punisher was for the Netflix shows, that he might just be off on his own. But who knows? Because I feel like you get an actor like that to... So could we have a Blade in the Avengers movie one day? That's weird. That's weird to think.
See, that's the thing. I can't picture that.
No.
But at the same time, I think people would have said the same thing about Guardians of the Galaxy,
Rocket
right?
Raccoon.
Yeah, exactly. And And fuck, Rocket Raccoon's an awesome character. He's a fantastic character. So it's a different realm. Like they're all over the place. Now, what do you think about
crazy?
Like, how much do you think Feige cares about like the casting of like the Marvel Netflix shows and this? Like, I think we've had that before. Isn't there one guy who is in?
No, there's a girl. The girl that plays Mariah Stokes. She's in Civil War as a different character.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That's the only one that I know of.
Yeah. So they probably don't care. Now, do you think it's changed because he's like a bigger character than she was in Civil War? Obviously,
it's funny they're brother and sisters, and they're the same two that in Netflix.
Luke Cage.
yeah, Mike Coulter. Here we go.
I don't know. Obviously they're gonna go with whoever they think is best for the job. It's not necessarily like because they worked with them or something. But I don't know. Do you think we'll see any of those people like come back? Do you think we'll see? I mean, we obviously won't get those characters again because of contracts. But do you think they will go with any of those people? Do you think they'll hold them back in case one day they can do him like a Daredevil with Charlie Cox again?
I'll say you won't see Finn Jones as Iron Fist.
Yeah, I'm going to say, based on our casting for Shang-Chi, that's probably not going to be the case.
Yeah, I think there's a chance you wouldn't see Mike Coulter back as Luke Cage because I feel like that's just a primed role for The Rock one day to step in there or somebody. I honestly think this is their way of saying that Charlie Cox maybe could someday be in the MCU.
I
but
think
he
it's
won't
as simple as like they just don't care. Right?
Yeah, I think he could be in the MCU one day, but I don't think he'll be playing Daredevil. Maybe they'll say, hey, but I think that's their way of saying if there is a Daredevil in the MCU, he's not going to be Charlie Cox. It's going to be someone new.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck again, but like JK, right?
Fuck.
You know, but yeah, I think this is their way of saying that's a different universe and we don't care about that. But they've kind of done that a couple times. It's still the same legacy, but there's a character in Captain America 1 that there's an actor they used and he's playing the principal in Far From Home. Yeah. But they just say he's like his great grandson. So I think it is at the end of the day.
Realistically, for smaller characters like that, I mean, Cottonmouth isn't a small character by any means, but he's just been, it was so long ago now, or it feels like it, so I think it's fine.
I think it's just like what you said. I think I don't care what the situation is. I think you hit it perfectly. I think Feige just cares who's best for the role, and I think that's the way. Let's say if Charlie Cox one day, for some reason, like he'd be the perfect Doctor Doom, which I don't think, but I'm just throwing someone out. We want Charlie Cox. I think this is what came down to it. And
I mean, now that they're auctioning off, I saw that auction off all the Daredevil, all the Defender stuff. Like those shows are clearly like completely and utterly done now. So I don't know. I think it's it's already. I've already moved on personally. So,
but even then, it does help because I guarantee you, he did talk to TV people, and I've never got the impression Ali's like a crappy guy, but he's done comic books, and it's just like, oh yeah, maybe he's a bigger fan, and who knows, maybe on that set, there's people and producers that like he was like, man, I'd love to see a Blade movie. I would love to play that character, and if they're, I just don't know. I want to know. I don't think Feige did this, but I just wonder if no, I guess they did the Blade first. I was trying to think, did they get Ali and be like, what could we do with him? Or did they do Blade and we want Ali? Because
it could have been something like, hey, we'll do Blade if we get him, right?
True, and that's the thing, because I think he's a big name, and I guess I'm just so befuddled because I did not think Blade function into any movie plans at all.
Yeah.
So I'm just...
I wonder, because you see like a character like Captain Marvel, like obviously the casting kind of similar as this, but at the same time, it's like they needed a Captain Marvel no matter what. So if she couldn't do it, like their plans already included her. And yeah, it makes me curious like how much Blade will be an integral character in like a future Avengers movie, because I can't really picture that. I could see him obviously teaming up in other movies, being relevant elsewhere.
But he's just a massive actor though, right? Like he's a big name.
That's like, true as well. I guess I just see like
we've lost some stars.
At least with what I know about Blade the character, it's like why would he be part of that? Like, yes, he'd care if the world is going to get snapped or something, but I think I picture him as like going out fucking up some vampires, right, and not really caring about the fucking Civil War storyline, right? Like I picture him being in the lineup there at the airport scene. Like I just can't.
Just with his blades.
I mean, I'd take it, sure.
And his plasma grenades and everything. Yeah, but I think again, you said the point of when Guardians first came out, they were like D-list people in the comic books, and they put them up to be like, they should be in those movies, right?
That's the thing, like. Marvel, sometimes there's weird decisions, things we don't like, but overall, like their quality is just, their bar is so high, right? Yeah. Like their bottom line. So I just have so much faith in them right now until they prove me wrong and then prove me wrong again and then prove me wrong once more. Then like, whatever, do whatever you guys want. I'll go see the movie.
So yeah, that's huge. I just had to leave that because that was shocking, and it was just back to back. At first, I thought because someone said they said Fantastic Four, and then he walked out. I thought he was going to be playing Reed Richards. I thought that was going because they said we're working on Fantastic Four, and then he came on stage. I'm like, oh my god! But no, it was completely left field. Blade.
Yeah. So Fantastic Four, they didn't say anything. They just said in development.
In development. So I think we'll talk about that at the end. But I think that's after 2021. I really think it could be in Phase 4. I really
they start
do.
Like throwing down the framework, little breadcrumbs or something, like you said, like
scene.
a character, a name, like a scientist, or post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Did Blade have a release date?
No.
On
So
the
I think that's also because the thing is they only did these. It's weird because remember Feige said he had a 5-year plan, but this is only till 2021. So I think this is Phase 4, but I don't think this is the entirety of Phase 4. I think they just beefed it up because the TV shows, which we'll talk about. But I think there's more. So I honestly am starting to think. I don't think X-Men. I think Mutants will be in some, but I think Fantastic Four, we're gonna get it in Phase 4 and a Blade movie in Phase 4, and it's crazy. We're getting some classic Marvel stuff. It's so weird now that they're getting the rights back to everything. We're like,
it's cool.
What's old is
It'll
new
be really
again.
fun to see the Mutants. It'll be fun to see Fantastic Four, Blade. Like, yeah, it is. It's cool because we're getting some new characters, some characters I haven't heard of. I don't know anything about the Eternals. I don't know anything about Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
It's cool to learn about that stuff, but it's also fun to have your classics. And, Fantastic Four kind of started it all. So
And Blade was one of the first comic movies in the 90s ever for Marvel.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. Yeah.
It's crazy. We're living
different time.
Great time. Just got to say Feige is
that fucking blood, like, whatever club scene.
I know. I just need a
I don't think we'll get that scene.
No. I just need a soundtrack that's as bumping as some of those because I was a big fan of those. And yeah, I guess it will be a PG-13 Blade, but I don't care because that actor and that.
Well, once again, now that the multiverse is like blown wide open, they can do whatever they want. Like, who knows where Blade fits in? Maybe it's like kind of on the side or like unrelated.
Yeah.
It's still in the universe technically, but in another multiverse, whatever it is.
We literally have a movie coming up that we're going to talk about that has multiverse in the title, so it's crazy. And I'm just shocked it's not a TV show. I really didn't. I still thought when he walked out, it's going to be a Disney Plus show.
Maybe eventually, right? Maybe obviously we've seen some other characters are getting TV shows now. Even though they've been in the movies for years. Maybe that's the plan down the line.
But still, the fact that he's leading with a movie, crazy. I would never thought that.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. So let's start off here. We're going to go down. We're going to start the...
I'm just thinking now that we did our rankings a few days ago, like when we do ours in a few years from now, it's like, Blade, I don't know. I think it's like a top 15. Like, wow, that's weird.
We could live in a world, where a Blade could be a top 10 MCU movie, and it's nuts. Now, the only thing, which obviously it seems further off, but this is with every movie, but it very excites me to see who they're going to get for a director, because I feel like with a star like Mahershala Ali, they're going to go and get someone very talented.
Yeah, and they definitely have different like strategies for like how they want their movies to be, and Taika is a great example of like a really different type of director for a movie
that worked,
and still worked really well. So.
Yeah. Very exciting. So we're going to go down the slate of what's coming for us, not the way they announced it in the panel. So we're going to start with Black Widow, May 1st, 2020. And obviously we won't do deep dives for some of these because we've talked about them a lot, but just as far as the plot thing. So that's coming out. You have a character.
Quite a few of these as well were on our prediction episode. So if you want to hear some of our thoughts on those extra thoughts, we did that a few weeks ago. About a month ago-ish at this point.
No, we did that after Endgame.
Couple months.
Yeah, it was the first cast after Endgame, the Phase 4 predictions. Yeah, we talked a lot about
when
these.
I got back. Yeah.
So they announced that it's gonna confirmed Taskmaster's in it. They confirmed Yelena Bovla, who I'm not that familiar with. I just know she is the Florence Pugh from Midsommar is playing her, and she kind of takes over. She's been known as the second Black Widow. So I'm not sure if that's gonna happen in this movie, but if they do want a new Black Widow, she's a great choice. Check out our Midsommar review.
Yeah, I saw like a post. She's like kind of like a sister figure character.
Yeah. So I think she's like an apprentice, but I'm gonna predict that it's gonna be Apprentice go bad. I think they're using this as like a ploy, like, she's the next Black Widow. I don't think so. I think it's gonna seem like that, and she'll be a villain. That's not in the comics. I just feel they like to twist some stuff, and that's confirmed that it's after Civil War, and it will also show stuff about Budapest, which they didn't confirm. Yeah, they didn't confirm on the panel, but that's pretty much confirming Jeremy Renner will be in this movie as well, you'd think, right?
You would hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point?
They refer to that many times. So what do you think? Because obviously Civil War...
What else is fucking Hawkeye going to do,
His TV show.
I know he has his TV show, but like, what else? I don't know. I think that's the perfect spot for him.
And it's coming after Civil War. So obviously in Civil War, she left for a bit and she was gone. So what do you think about this? We're confirmed the time, place of it, the era, some villains, so...
Yeah, that casting... obviously, we talked about Midsummer Review a little bit, but I'm really interested in to see what she does, like some of her movies, her career in the future. So I love that casting, just to see more of her. Storyline wise, that's good for me. I didn't want it to be a full on. This is actually pretty much exactly what I wanted. I wanted maybe some flashbacks to give us a little more fleshed out backstory on her character, because we've only really got a couple sequences. I think it was in Age of Ultron, right, where you get those like flashbacks, trippy
the ballerina,
sequences.
the red rooms, and
Yeah,
stuff like
so
that.
I want to get a little bit more information there. Maybe find out some of the characters that are relevant to her story, like before the MCU, the events of the MCU. And I didn't really, I don't know. It's interesting because obviously she's gone as of Endgame, but I think this is perfect. Pretty much like the perfect option, I guess, with what we have. Better than a full prequel, but still kind of in like a relevant time.
And it's a nice send off for her. You know, this will be her last one, and I think I agree with you that I was fine with it, but I would not have been excited for a prequel Iron Man 1 and stuff like that, because I think it's just her on missions, right? Other than Budapest, there's not that much exciting, so I think this is a good time to see what was she doing after Civil War, because she was on the run for a while. So
I don't know. I guess the other big thought was like, okay, maybe this explores some of what she did in the Endgame, like or during this time of the snap in the 5 years. And do you think we'll get any glimpse of that? Because I was kind of interested to find out what happens there, and if that isn't the case here, then we'll never know. And maybe she was just moping around, which is fine, I guess. But I don't know.
Well, no, she was the leader of the, like, whatever that Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. was. Remember, she was the leader.
Yeah, but I don't know. It still kind of felt to me like she was just kind of hanging around. Not really much news, like just kind of a weekly update.
There wasn't much crime or bad guys, right? So
I know.
I think you could have 1 to 2 scenes. I think the movie could take place of her in that time period thinking about events that have happened.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about. Like, kind of like a Wonder Woman sort of did, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we'll get her hanging out or whatnot. It could just be literally her sitting there thinking before Cap comes to talk to her.
Because I don't think it'll be... I don't think it would have like tons of the characters from those movies, because that would be kind of, I think, maybe too much of a crossover for her movie, which should focus on her and be a send off to her. Which
Downey's back, Cat's back, everyone.
I'm excited for this because I felt a little bit underwhelmed by the end of her character with Endgame, and I think by the time of Endgame we already knew that the movie was coming, or there was like heavily rumored.
We
for
just
it.
didn't know what it was about. Yeah.
So I'm happy for it because I love that character, and I think it'll be fun to finally jump in to her story from her perspective and find out more of her thoughts behind the scene and finally see what the fuck Budapest is all about.
And Taskmaster, we've talked about before, but that's hype. I'm excited.
I've only seen a couple renditions of that character so far in my comic book explorations, but he is really interesting, and he's like so different in the different iterations that I've seen. So really, they can take him a lot of different directions, and I hope he's interesting. I mean, Marvel's been doing really well with their villains as of late. Look at Mysterio, look at Killmonger, look at Thanos. So I'm excited from that perspective.
This character's having a renaissance. He was in Spider-Man PS4. It looks like he's one of the main villains in the Avengers Square Enix game, and now he's in this. I don't know why Marvel just like they pinpoint stuff and like, okay, the year of 2018 and 2019, 2020, that's gonna be like Taskmaster. Like Feige's just like, yeah, we love that. So I will do a hard-on, really early prediction that he's definitely gonna die, because this movie takes place in 2016 era and we haven't seen him at all. I think he's a goner, unless he's just in prison. Maybe that could be it. So, but I just hope that
I don't think I have enough backstory on the character to know like what else he really does. So
that's just a hard prediction. But I always say, Marvel, don't kill your villains unless Thanos. He kind of had to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to picture what other like villain he would be. I think he's a little too small scale for a lot of the characters.
TV shows though, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't. At the same time, I don't think I think a Spider-Man or something is going to want to go for more known characters, bigger characters, more explosive characters.
So then next, and this is a good thing because we have some dates on these, and this is the only show we're going to be getting next year, but it's fun because it's the one I'm almost most excited for. Falcon and the Winter Soldier with a nice spiffy new S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on there, coming fall 2020.
I'm just trying to put my years together. It's been quite a day.
So like next September, October, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much a year, and a couple of months.
Yeah. And we didn't get much. We didn't get much more plot other than they are just saying. I'll take a look and make sure they didn't say anything. But I guess they did. I'm not sure if they showed something or they said that Zemo's going to be getting some sort of costume.
Yeah,
which is very.
He's got the hood and a beard apparently. I'm down for that. Civil War. I love that movie. Zemo. I really like the character, but he is a little bit more simple than a lot of the other characters in the MCU villains list. And I'm excited for him to get the look because I think. From just some Google searches, Zemo has a lot of really different looks. Sometimes he's very purple spandex kind of, but sometimes he's a little more. He just kind of has a coat on over the purple and stuff. I don't know,
well, this one because I think people described it as a hood, so I don't think it's going to be like this guy, the classic. But I think it's going to be purple and have some sort of tribute to that. I'm just wondering because I was hoping this would happen, but I didn't think it would. I'm wondering what inspires him to be like wearing a costume now, you know? Is he a villain on the run? Is he now, like we've heard rumors of Thunderbolts possibly happening? Is it that where he's taking on a mantle? So that threw me for a whirl that he's actually going to get a costume of even any sort, you know?
Yeah,
because that character doesn't
I wouldn't
look
have thought that would have been the case.
No, he's a very, when I say basic, not basic in the sense of character development, just he's a guy avenging his family who was a soldier. That's it, you know?
I wonder why that decision came to be. I wonder if it was something like I don't think they were really planning to bring him back at the time of making Civil War. Could be wrong on that. It's just my random hard prediction for the day. I wonder if I don't really know what the reception is to what people generally think of Zemo in Civil War. I really like him. I know you really do as well. But I wonder if people wanted like when they heard Zemo was going to be in this movie, if they expected more, if they wanted like something that reflected their comics that they love so much.
I've heard that
maybe,
sometimes. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they saw a lot of that. I'm sure they saw some not of that, but
we bitch enough about Shocker, right? So we've been there. When we see Shocker, like, whoa, what'd you do to our boy Shocker?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And I'm not opposed to the Zemo costume. I just don't think it would have fit in Civil War for the story they were telling with that character.
He's a very restaurant.
Yeah, he's a very humanizing character, so it doesn't make sense for him to be super villainous, fucking plotting with a cape and
I
shit.
wonder if this guy's bad.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, whatever it is with Zemo, isn't there? What is the other villain in that show?
There was just a rumor of like a
rumor.
rogue like a Captain America project that goes wrong or something like that. So I'm not sure. And those
there was another character.
What
was the other character we heard of? This is a
Sharon
rumor.
Carter is for sure in it. Yeah.
Yes, she's for sure in it. They didn't talk about that today though.
No. And they didn't give any plot details either today. So I think maybe because that one's the closest.
Yeah.
They're like, you're gonna get a trailer in the next year.
Right.
We'll.
I mean, definitely part of the plot will be Falcon taking over the mantle,
Yeah.
getting the shield.
He walked out with the shield, and he said
Yeah.
he's been fitted for a Captain America costume already.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. And that takes anybody. There's so many people I still saw online like, oh, this doesn't mean he's gonna be Captain America. It just means he just has the shield. I don't know how you did not understand that, like passing the mantle. I guess you could make that comparison, but I just thought that this was a for sure. He's becoming Captain America, and people he has no powers. That's exactly what Cap says in Endgame. And it's not about that. It's about the person with the will or the heart to do it. It wasn't about, oh, you're the strongest Avenger or whatnot. So it makes sense. And I think my prediction is that you will see that soup in the finale. They'll do a Daredevil season 1. They'll save it. They'll save it. And you got to get to that final 6 episode to get that Falcon.
Gotta earn it.
Oh, wings with Captain America garb. I'm excited. So.
Yeah, I'm down for this show for a couple of reasons. One, I think he's got the chops, and I think he could really pull off like that kind of leading role the next Cap. Two, I'm super, super disappointed with what Bucky has to do in Infinity War and Endgame. He gets literally no content, or not literally, but very close to no content.
He's forgettable. He's forgettable. Other than his goodbye with Cap, there's nothing.
You could take him out. So
and even in Infinity War, same thing, I'd say, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And in Civil War, he's still just there.
And what movie is it where they... It's in the end of Black Panther, right? He's the post-credit scene. So you maybe expect a little bit more because of that, too. But then it just leads into nothing, really. He's just there. Not even, really. So I'm just down for more of him because it's been a while. So we don't really know how his character's evolved over the last few years because we just haven't seen him. So I'm down. I'm not a huge fan of that character, but I'm definitely open to it.
Yeah, and I know you're not the biggest fan of the John Wick series, but there's some people involved in this, and I don't know from a story perspective if that helps for you, but the action I think is good because I think this needs to be good fights, cinematography, and that, because they're not powered individuals, right? So I think we're gonna get.
I'd say it's a good sign. I watched the first John Wick once. I didn't really care for it a whole lot, but I still gotta watch the other ones. I probably want to rewatch the first one because people praise those movies so much, or at least the first two maybe, and then the third one people are like, it's all right.
I think that's just Briggs.
Just Briggs?
I haven't seen the third one yet, but other than Briggs, everyone I talked to it might be the best one yet. So
yeah, I don't know. People really love those movies, so it's definitely a good sign that those people are working on it, even if I didn't care much for the movie myself. So.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So and also we're gonna talk about the other TV shows because we're getting none of the other ones next year, but we're getting that one at least. So that's good. We get one show next year and kind of see what the vibe is and how the layout is. So that's cool. And that's the one I want the most.
I guess I expected a little bit more of these TV shows come out earlier.
Yeah, but I think that one we'll talk about, but I honestly think some of these Loki, WandaVision, and Hawkeye. I think it's just if they are making a 6 to 8 hour kind of almost movie quality like Game of Thrones, I think it's a budget. That's why the last season of Game of Thrones got pushed back a year because just we need time for the budget, the effects. So if they want these to feel like an MCU movie on TV, and especially with Vision, if you're using a budget, I think that's literally it. Is why 6 hours of Vision we need time to do that.
And that's what they want. They want people what is the purpose of the show? It's to bring these MCU fans over, which obviously, as we see with Endgame becoming the biggest grossing movie, whatever, of all time. Like, they want those people to go fucking over to the app. So you shouldn't guarantee that you need these shows to be like highly praised, or people to say it's worth it, people to say not even that it's worth it, but that you need to go see this show. So a budget is a good way to do it.
They want those Feige bucks, you know.
They want the Feige fun bucks. Yeah.
And then finally, the last thing happening in 2020, we've heard about this before, but November 6th, the Eternals. We just had a bunch of the cast confirmed today. Angelina Jolie, all the people that were rumored. Kumail Nanjiani, who I'm so excited for. I love that guy. Richard Madden, who was a big character in Game of Thrones, so big for him. We've talked about this a lot. I'm still like smaller on Eternals. I'm going to read up for it. I know enough about it, but it's never been one of my things. It's kind of like Guardians that came out, but it's like Dylan said. I trust Feige. I trust the MCU right now. I think this could be a new Guardians where it's something new and fresh, and it's a space universe. And plus, it doesn't have to do the snap or anything, because this is, I guess it sounds like it's a prequel because it's taking place decades and telling like kind of legends of these people. So
okay, I think it's getting you up to speed.
I think it's kind of like a Captain America First Avenger sort of deal. So it won't have to be like, where were they during the snap? I think it was something that we'll meet them later. But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Those are it's funny. It is. I don't want to say this because MCU is strong, but I do think I'm surprised that we got Black Widow, Falcon, and Bucky, and then this. I think it is a weaker year for Marvel as far as
without a doubt.
As far as
following up, a year that has Spidey and fucking Endgame.
Yeah. So that's why I think the only reason these movies would be like that is that they have faith in the directors, they got faith in the writers, because these movies being kind of, I would say, lower tier as far as popularity, they need to bring it. Same with Guardians, they are lower tier, but they blew the roof off. So if Eternals can do the same, I think they kind of have to, because there's no Black Panther to save them. There's no Captain Marvel coming out later. It's those movies. So
yeah, Eternals, it's an interesting one for me. One, generally, I don't really care so much for prequels, but I would say Captain Marvel gave me some faith in that regard, because there's things I don't like about the movie. One thing I thought they did really well was making the origin story interesting. The way they paced it in the movie of like kind of getting flashbacks, and you kind of as the viewer were kind of uncovering the story as the character was. And I thought that was really interesting. So, I mean, it's not going to be the exact same thing for the Eternals. It's because it's more retelling like a history that's known, but all right, I guess that's probably what it will be. But I guess I'm not like just against the idea of it being a prequel because of what they did with Captain Marvel. I thought it was interesting there. As for the characters, I've done some Googling on them before, and to me they kind of fall in that same realm with like the Inhumans in terms of just just the style of the characters doesn't terribly interest me. It's like kind of seems like it's similar to like Asgard and its people. I don't really care much for that kind of world. So I don't know. I'm not like on paper. I'm not chomping at the bit to get this movie, but it'll be interesting to introduce another set of characters, because last time we had that happen was really Guardians, right? Other than that, it's just like one character here, a couple of characters here. So it'll be interesting, and it's one like this is our. I know it's not. It can't be like Guardians, right? They got to do something different, and I'm curious what that pathway is going to be.
Yeah, no, because the Eternals is some really wild, spacey sort of stuff, really crazy like Marvel. So I've not seen her work, but people praise the director. Her last film was a big hit, so I'm gonna look into that once we get closer. So
a female director,
female director, cool. First time solo female director. So
yeah, because for Captain Marvel was like co-directed, right?
Co-directors, yeah. So
that's cool. That's awesome.
I
don't know what I was gonna say. It seems the casting seems interesting. They have a mix of like big stars, some unknown people, some kind of like medium level stars. So they have like a nice mix across the board. They have some people from movies, people from TV shows. So I don't know. It seems like a pretty interesting cast. I'm not too familiar with like most of them, but I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Jolie because I feel like she's one of those people kind of like Tom Cruise that because she's very popular in tabloids. Yeah. Not people forget she's a really great actress.
I feel like she had a phase where she was just in so many things, so people maybe got a little overdone, like maybe like Jennifer Lawrence effect of late or something.
Yeah. So, and if I believe, I don't know which, I can't remember which character she's playing, but I'm not sure. She could be even villainous. I'm not sure.
She plays, what was the name? I was just looking it up.
Thena, I think, or something like that.
Athena, yeah, something like that.
Thela, yeah. But like I said, that's a blind spot for me when it comes to Athena. So there you go. So yeah, Internals, I will read up on it when we get closer. Then kicking off 2021 is Shang-Chi. We've talked about this before. Sorry. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I forgot they have this sort of thing.
Yeah, pretty goofy name.
Yeah, goofy, really?
I think it's a little goofy. Like for MCU standards. I would say.
So I think I agree with you there, but I think in the way of a kung fu movie, that kind of fits because there was always like Enter the Dragon stuff like that. So
no, I just mean in the sense of like MCU standards. Like the titles in general are. I saw someone make a comment that like these are some fucking wild titles from this phase.
This full on feels like comic booky stuff, like the Strange Tale and Thor. Like they're
dipping into that sauce.
They're in the full on like I'm not gonna say we don't care mode, but they're just like we're gonna just do anything we want now. Like to me, that's what Blade is. This because they have so much success, but they confirmed Mandarin's gonna be in it. They've confirmed who's playing Shang-Chi, and then Awkwafina's in it. The only thing I'll say with the casting is Awkwafina. I'm a fan of. She's gonna blow up. She has this movie right now called. It's not what is it? I can't remember, but anyway, it's doing really well, and it's talked about for a lot of.
I thought she was a singer, so I don't know much about her.
Yeah, it's talked about for a lot of Academy Awards stuff. She's very popular right now. Sweet. So, and then with Shang-Chi and Mandarin,
what is her? Did they give the name of her character, or is she just in it? Okay,
they did.
So we don't know. Like, she's a big character, just kind of
a love
kind of in it.
Or,
I mean, if they're getting a big star, as you say, or maybe like to be a big star soon enough,
on rise.
Then hopefully she's in a bigger role or like a co-lead or something.
I'd say she's really big with like young people right now. You know, like that 16 to 25 demo right now.
I feel like her name is like that's why I thought she was a singer. She just sounds like a rapper.
Yeah. It's The Farewell. That's what it is. That's the movie.
The movie?
Check it out. I'm excited to see it. But yeah, this one I am a little surprised, and I can't say anything on the guys playing Mandarin Shang-Chi because I don't know him anything. The only thing that I think is really cool that the guy that's playing Shang-Chi auditioned for the role last Sunday, and then 6 days later he's on Comic-Con stage playing
That's
Shang-Chi.
pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah. So what and it's so funny. People have retweeted old tweets of his. There's these rumors going on like Shang-Chi looking for like a sort of actor, and he's like, Marvel, call me up. And this was before he was an auditioning and whatnot. So it's so funny that he was like, he's a fan clearly. So that's cool for him.
What's his name? We got to get familiar with his name.
Good call, and I should have had it.
Starts with an S.
Kill sometime as I do a Mac word search.
He's younger guy, and he's Canadian, I believe, or
Canadian Chinese. I think they said.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool for as a Canadian. I think that's pretty neat.
Are you kidding me? This one Twitter page I don't have. Are you kidding?
Come on, Josh. Go on our Facebook. Scroll up.
On our Facebook,
like our chat. We were just talking about it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think this is interesting because.
Oh, Taylor, don't spam the chat now. He's pushing the chat down.
Taylor,
he's like, "Is that Blade?"
I'm thinking about other recent Marvel movies with like new characters. The most recent being, of course, Captain Marvel and Black Panther. Those were definitely bigger and known actors, at least in the case of Captain Marvel, more so. So I think this is interesting casting that they're going with an unknown entity. It kind of, I mean, Disney has done this recently with, I guess, Star Wars, like Daisy Ridley, taking your main character of like a completely unknown person. Mm-hmm. But I think it's interesting. Clearly they have some faith in this guy, and I don't know, I'm down with it.
Simu Liu, his name is spelled Simu, and then his last name Liu. So
cool.
Simu Liu, I think.
Sure.
We'll find out the full pronunciation. I agree with you. You made a good point that Benedict Cumberbatch, Brie Larson, Mahershala Ali now, these are bigger names. So, and that's one thing, unless it was they're saving it. There was rumors that Keanu Reeves is going to be in Eternals. That didn't happen, but that would have been another big name. But yeah, the only thing we're talking about the casting, Awkwafina is a big star, but I will expect that we're going to get some bigger names because he's not that big. And the guy that plays Mandarin, he is, I think, big in the Asian culture films, but as far as here, so I think they need to, I think we're going to see the cast get bigger names because I think Awkwafina is big, but I don't think she's big enough to be, oh, wow, like when you looked at Thor, it was like we got Natalie Portman. And
it seems like she's kind of known to like a certain demographic or like a younger audience, perhaps.
Yeah, like Thor, you got like Natalie Portman and Anthony Hopkins, and Captain America was like we got Tommy Lee Jones, we got Hugo Weaving, and we got like Samuel Jackson's going to be in it. So I think they'll do some trickery, some like putting.
That's definitely the biggest like unknown variable, I'd say. I mean. I guess Eternals is too, but at least there you have some known actors who can maybe carry it a little bit. But this is definitely like, ooh, I wonder what their plan is here. I wonder how they're going to market this movie. I wonder what it'll be like. Because once again, this is not out of the realm possibility like a Blade or something, but it is still like quite a bit different than what the MCU currently is. I mean, we kind of see Iron Fist, which I reckon is a very similar character, but that is... that's different because it was a different studio and team making that show.
It's so funny you bring that up. Like, we have such a weird variety of... You have shows like Falcon, Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, and then Blade coming out. But then you have, like, huge things like Eternals, Doctor Strange, and you'd imagine Thor. So they're really still keeping with like you got big space bound stuff, but then you got really small down to earth potential stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming out February. I think that's a good slot for it. That's when Black Panther came out. February. That's when I think Get Out came out. So February has been a good month for kind of launching films. So spring 2021, which disappoints me because it's so far away. But WandaVision. So there's a lot to talk about, and also we're going to tie it into the next thing after about that. So they've announced that it's after Endgame. Monica Rambeau is going to be in it. She's the daughter of Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel. She plays Spectrum. She becomes a superhero. So I'm not sure if they're going to go that route, but she's there. They're setting it up. So it's interesting. I'm very excited for this show. I'm just thrilled. We're going to talk about it, but I'm just thrilled we're going to be seeing Scarlet Witch in a few things coming up now because she's a character that I think is getting better and better. I love Elizabeth Olsen, and the fact that now I think the TV show is going to fully really get into development, and then we pop over to what that movie we're going to talk about. We're going to be ready to go. It's perfect. And after Endgame, it's intriguing. I don't know. We've heard rumors maybe she's going to try to bring back Vision. Maybe he's evil. Dead's better. Don't do that. If someone dies, leave him dead. But I don't want to say that. I don't care what the show is, but I got faith in them, and I'm excited. The only thing I'm disappointed in is that it's 2 years away. Yeah,
a lot of this stuff is pretty far away. And as we talked about, the next year is going to be a little bit lower on the list. But so that's I don't know. I guess it's a little bit disappointing, but no worries. We'll got some other stuff to keep us busy in the meantime. But I'm really excited that it's not a prequel. I'm down to see what they do in the future because, it makes sense. Like Vision, he did die, but at the same time, Shuri like pretty much copied over or downloaded most of what he is as a robotic kind of character. So it's definitely possible they could bring him back, and that's really interesting. I hope, or I guess I don't want to say hope, but I'm curious how they're going to bring him back into like an Avengers movie or something, like the more team up films, like if he'll show up there again or if he'll just kind of remain a smaller character on the side with her and they just kind of do their adventures.
I think whatever happens in the show,
because he's most tied to like Iron Man, right?
Yeah. I think whatever happens to Vision, I don't think he's making it into the movies. I think this is a send-off for him.
Because that could be like maybe confusing for moviegoers or something.
Well, I don't know about that because let's talk about the next movie because this is why I also think the show is coming out 2021. I think this one is a budget thing, but I also think they said that, so we got Doctor Strange 2, the multiverse. That is
the
madness, the multiverse man?
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Let me get the full.
Another fucking awesome name.
Yeah.
Goofy comic book.
The Multiverse Madness, that logo they had with like that red smoke and stuff like that. Awesome. So they announced a bunch of stuff, and I'll get back to what I was referring to. Obviously, Cumberbatch is coming back. Nightmare is going to be the villain. Really cool look, cool character. I'm excited to see who they cast. But then they also said, and this is coming out May 7th, 2021. So it's coming out of that Iron Man Cap Avenger slot. So huge faith they have in that franchise to put there. But then they said it directly ties into the Scarlet Witch series, which is strange because, one, we never got to see that with the Netflix Marvel shows. They were, you're away, you're alone. Yeah. I think this slate really showed to me that the shows really do matter because they consider these a part of Phase 4. Like when they have this
that's true.
Yeah,
they put it on the map, the roadmap. Yeah,
because at first that's why when we're talking in the chat, I'm like, oh wow, 10 movies. But when the first show, when Falcon came out, was on the slate, I'm like, they consider these a part of the journey now. So that's why I think this show is coming out 2021. It could be ready earlier, but I think it's to tie into that, and that's why I'm wondering if it's her trying to bring Vision back, deals with some, like, she's kind of messing with some stuff, and Doctor Strange is like, the same way he went to Thor and like, hey, you gotta get Loki out of here. Yeah, like, hey, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to bring like your dead robot lover? Like, he'll get like a Peter tingle and be like, something's going on. And so that's why for some reason I think Vision will not make it back to movies. I think he's gonna be a one and done. But
one and done, really? In
that series, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I could be wrong.
Like, do you think he'll die again in that show?
Yeah, and I do think there is a chance.
Or like they bring him back and then it like doesn't work and he's like a villain or something.
I think that's what I think they're gonna go the Pet Cemetery route. Yeah. He might be a bad guy, and but I'm very interested. So what do you think about Doctor Strange, and what do you think about the Scarlet Witch Doctor Strange team up? Because I have to say, because I don't know if you remember this, I listened to our 4-year anniversary cast coming up. I listened to some casts before, and a fan gave us a question like, what would be your like pitch a Marvel movie or something like that? And Dylan literally said 2 years ago, if he was Foggy, he would make a Doctor Strange Scarlet Witch team up movie. And you're literally getting that.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is. That is like my ideal movie, right? We're getting like some, what sounds like, in Doctor Strange movie, there was there's trippy elements to it, but overall, like the whole thing wasn't trippy. It was just like there's sequences of it. But this sounds like conceptually, like this whole movie is going to be a fucking trip.
Madness of the multiverse.
It is going to be super weird, and that's what I want. That's what I love about Doctor Strange is the magic, is how fucking weird he is and what the kind of adventures he goes on. But Scarlet Witch as well, like just the idea of that character, the magic of it, the intrigue. Like I am super interested. Like this, I don't want to say it's going to be my favorite MCU movie because that's like, you know, of course you can't know these things until you see the movie itself. But just like on paper, this is my favorite MCU movie.
Easily your most anticipated. Of
oh
this.
Yeah. Like this is incredibly exciting for me. I love those two characters. I love the weird magicness to it. I'm excited that like we're gonna get more diving into her story in like the TV show and find out more about that character because she's just gotten better and better with each performance, even though she started in a movie that was kind of just maybe a little crowded or a little messy at times or something. So I'm super interested in this. Vision, I think, you know, the idea we just talked about of like, you know, making him, maybe it wasn't so successful, maybe he becomes a bad guy. That could be really interesting. I'm kind of interested in that, but either way, I'm just looking forward to whatever the show is. It leads right into Doctor Strange, and that's fucking super cool to me. So
yeah, and for me, it's just one. We talked a lot about this with Spider-Man and multiverse, and we did say, and people have brought up that it was confirmed as Strange. And in Spider-Man, I'm not going to talk about specifically what happened in that movie.
Yeah,
but you got an answer of what was going on in the multiverse there. This is a full on. They're going to be diving into it. It's in the title. There's no is Mysterio lying? What's his deal? We're going into multiverse, and I'm not predicting we're going to see. I don't know what we're going to see. I really don't, because Doctor Strange, I couldn't have told you what we were going to see. Obviously, I've read Doctor Strange comic books, and it's wild and wicked. But anytime someone has Doctor Strange, they're going to do something different, something unique. Scott Derrickson said he's trying to make this the scariest MCU film, so that's good.
Yeah,
he's a horror director,
awesome.
So that makes sense. And I'm just thrilled that Scarlet Witch is going to be in the movies, because we had an idea, but still, I always worry that there was going to be a chance that, you know, the TV show guys are still just the TV show guys now. They can say, oh, yeah, it's in the MCU and it's a story, but until they do it, like the Marvel Netflix stuff, they said that. We never saw it, right? So it's just them trying to get us more excited for that.
It's definitely interesting that they're tying this stuff in.
Well, yeah, and this, to me, I love that confirms that, no, Scarlet Witch, she's going to be in a show, but she's still going to be in movies. And that's what I love, because I'm really enjoying that character. So that, to me, was just a good cherry on top. Like, no, the TV shows doesn't mean they're done. It's just like another movie, and perfect. I'm so hyped for this movie.
Yeah, that is by far my most anticipated Marvel movie out of this list, out of any list. This is just gonna be one of my most anticipated movies overall.
Oh yeah.
Just for the next couple of years. This comes out in 2 years or something.
May 7th, 2021. So it's
for the TV show or the movie, is that?
The movie, and then the show's the spring. So I would guess that the show is coming out in probably March, April-ish, and then the movie comes out in May. Yeah.
Cool.
So
I'm down for that.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of Scarlet Witch in 2021.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned this before the cast, but I like that time slot for Strange to make it, like, because the last one was in November, but I'm like the May has been like their big month last couple of years, or around that time frame at least. So that's cool. I like that. Yeah,
that's exciting. Oh yeah, I like I said, between you wanting that movie and Mahershala Ali's Blade, this panel was just like, are these things happening? Is this real? Like,
yeah, you could have been pranking me in the chat, just saying all these things and like quickly fucking making up these little proofs of like these logos and stuff.
Yeah, crazy. So here's another thing. I didn't even put this in my mind, to be honest. Loki, also spring 2021.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. That's a lot of stuff in a short period of time.
Yeah.
That seems really, especially when we just talked about how next year is maybe going to be not lackluster, but it's
light.
It doesn't have like as big heavy hitters. So Loki could have been that. I don't know. That is kind of weird, actually. That is a lot of stuff to just cram into 3-4 month period.
Yeah, and then obviously they confirmed that Loki, it is the 2012 Loki. He's on his own. So then and same thing as like the Sam Wilson thing. There was a few people like a month ago being like, yeah, the Loki show's still a prequel show. I don't know why. It was like a big setup. So I'm excited. I also do think, so we have Loki doing his stuff, and he said he couldn't talk about it. He just said, Feige pitched me the show. He called him Kevin. They're real friends. We're fake friends.
Yeah.
But he's like, Kevin pitched me the show, and he said it was obviously he could just be saying great stuff. But he's like, sound really creative. I was really intrigued by it, and I'm very excited to get into it. Obviously, he said I can't talk about it right now. I think there's a good chance we have this coming out very similar time as WandaVision, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is the multiverse of madness. I think there is a chance that this Loki is going to come back into our MCU, and Tom Hiddleston's Loki will be back.
Yeah, like
the stars just seem to be aligned.
Kind of like how the Gamora we have in the current MCU is like not the Gamora we've had a couple movies with. Yeah. That's interesting. Do you think he would be like in the Doctor Strange movie, like kicking around or something? Do you think he like? I don't think he was. Obviously, he's not the main villain of that show or anything. But I could see him popping up for like a quick scene.
I would say,
and we've already seen them have an interaction, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's a short interaction
I want that more.
In Ragnarok, but yeah, that could be really interesting. I mean, it would be a different Loki, I guess. They wouldn't have that, but Doctor Strange, to him, it would be the same Loki. Yeah, so that could be funny.
And this is in 2012. This is even more villainous Loki. So, and that's the thing that is.
Yeah, exactly. A little more sinister.
That's what I'll talk about the show in a second. As far as Loki in this movie or what a scene could be, I think there's a chance that they do some multiverse stuff. I don't know if they maybe cause some errors, change some stuff. I think the post-credit scene could be Loki showing up in our universe or whatever there is, like whatever happened, they think all the dust has settled, and maybe Loki walking in Sanctum Sanctorum being like, why am I here? I think there could be, I think he might be the post-credit scene, and it might be, that's why the show will be before the movie. Mm-hmm. Oh, Loki's doing his stuff, he's in a multiverse, something happens, he gets brought back in, and then we're going to talk about Thor as well coming up, but I think there is a good chance that Loki's coming back.
I really do think, now thinking about it more, I feel like the next Avengers movie, like next big bad, will definitely be something related to like screwing around multiverses. Yeah. Right? Because they've cracked open that egg and it's like so interesting now. So why not tap into it? And especially if they already have a show and a movie that are going to be, interested in that. Well, I guess we don't know if the WandaVision show will really have any sort of dimensional stuff, but it will
directly tie into.
Yeah, it'll directly lead into something that we know will, or else their title is incredibly terrible. But that's really interesting. It is. Yeah, I wonder if they are related now. As you mentioned, you just theory crafted something that could viably work on paper, and that would be interesting. Like, would he ever come back to these Thor movies? Would he pop up like helping out some other bad guy in the future? I don't know. Yeah, if he was in the movies, but I'm just picturing like Thor's reaction when he finally sees him again is like, "What are you doing back here? Who are you?" I
think there's a chance. We're gonna talk about Thor, but I think there's a chance he's in there. And like you said with multiverse. They first talked about in Strange, so it's fitting the sequels that, but then Endgame obviously dealt with multiverses. Spider-Man had some multiverse stuff in there, but that's 3 very big movies. Big. If Doctor Strange was a mention, but the other 2 were big plot points. This is a 3rd movie with that.
If Loki is just like a one-off though, and this is like, let's say the last time we see him, then I think it is a little far out. I think maybe too far. Actually, I think it should be next year if this is like just kind of closing out the character, but.
So what do you think? This is what I want to ask you, because now, before we thought that was that, but there's still rumors it could have been a prequel, this and that. What do you do with a Loki that just invaded, like the last time we saw him, the Hulk smashed him up, and he invaded New York, and he was a bad guy. What do you do with the TV show about that? Because technically, this is their first property with a bad guy at the helm, because 2012 Loki is a villain. He hasn't had those redemption arcs. He hasn't had those moments with Thor and his mother and Odin. Right. So what, like... That intrigues me. What do you do with that?
Right off the bat, I really hope that it's not related to Asgard. I don't want to go back there. I never liked Asgard.
I don't want to go back. Oh.
I don't want to see Loki leading Asgard. We saw it jokingly in Ragnarok for a second. Yeah. Not very long. It was more of just like a punchline than an actual, like an idea they're exploring. I really just find Asgard boring. I hope they don't. I hope it's not that. I hope it's Loki in charge of something else.
I don't think they would, because at that time frame, Odin's still there, Thor, so he would get... It'd be the Thor Dark World. He'd go back and get arrested, right?
I think I want Loki, if anything, to be back like on Earth possibly, and maybe he takes control of more people and just kind of screws around and does some fun stuff. Not just like in a way where Hawkeye's just shooting people with different colored eyes, but maybe something a little more sinister as he tries to claim some power. But
I would think, do you think he also gets a redemption arc in this story as well, like this 2012 Loki? Because what is the end game of this show?
I think the idea, I think the fun thing for them to do with the show is, hey, we can finally do something where we're focusing on the villain. So I think they should go with that idea, right? And I think they should focus on someone who is a little more evil, someone whose goal at the end of the day isn't just to save everyone. Yeah. I don't know. I hope so, at least. Yeah. I don't know if I want just like rehash something with Loki. I mean, because I think if that's the case, then why not just do a what if episode? And I know it's different. It's an animated show. It's a movie, but I don't know. Or I guess not a movie, a TV show as well, but non-animated. But I don't know. That one I really got to think on. Like
it's intriguing.
It's weird to me that if it is just going to be a one-off, why not do it sooner? Obviously production time and all that is a thing to do, but I just feel like the longer you do it, it's like the less people are going to be interested in Loki, perhaps.
And that's why I think he's coming back. I think just the timing of it, it's strange that it seems like he is sandwiched in between. Well, even then, because, well, technically, so here on the way it's
sandwiched in between Eternals and Scarlet Witch show or WandaVision.
Right? No. So it goes the way they have it here, because that's the unfortunate thing with the WandaVision and Loki. It just says spring for both of them, but it goes WandaVision, Doctor Strange, then Loki. So I'm wondering, do maybe events of Doctor Strange show set up Loki's show maybe? Instead of bringing Loki back, it
kind of gives you a more thorough explanation of multiverses, and then shows how he has control of that or in some way, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, and we've also heard that he is, which, oh God, who knows, but we've heard he's like time traveling sometimes in the show. So what happens if 2012 Loki bumps into a multiverse version of Doctor Strange and he somehow gets the Eye of Agamotto in his show, and it's a different universe, right? So we can just have some fun, play around.
Loki going after the stones.
Yeah.
Infinity Saga all over again.
So
you know, it'd be funny if Loki made a bunch of clones of himself and just sent them to different dimensions.
Yeah.
To like, everyone go and try to take over this universe. Come back when you have the results.
And they're all unsuccessful. It's like, oh yeah, I was never meant to rule, was I? You know.
There's one.
There's one. Yeah. So maybe, you know, I'm not gonna make the bold prediction and say he's back, but I think the Doctor Strange will have something. Those two shows will somehow relate to Loki.
Either way, that is a fire half a year.
Yeah.
Or 4-month period, however long it is. That's gonna be pretty exciting for Marvel fans.
And then in summer, we got the What If series. Another one that I was surprised how far away it was. But it is...
that same year, sorry?
2021. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the picture of the cast. Here we go here. I'm not going to read them all off, but just some big ones. Michael B. Jordan, Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Chris Evans, Jeremy Renner. Where else? There's
bigger characters, there's smaller characters.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them. You can go look at it, but the one that intrigued me the most, because I think for sure we're gonna get a what if Killmonger won Black Panther, and
definitely.
we talked about me and Kirkland talked about it on our 4 year of like a movie where a bad guy would win. What we'd like to see. So to me, I'm excited for the series overall. They announced Jeffrey Wright's gonna be voicing the Watcher, and it's gonna be him telling these different dimension storylines.
That's really awesome.
So that's just such a fun way to do it. Like that's just that's perfect.
Who's that? The voice actor?
I don't think you've seen him in anything. He's big in the Bond franchise, and he's big on a show called Westworld.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. He's a guy you might have seen. He's always like character actors, though, like side characters. So I think that's a smart way to do it. This show is... I'm more intrigued for the other ones, but I'm just as intrigued because this, I think, could be so much fun.
It just sounds like the most on paper, just fun. Yeah. Just good time. Simple, easy watch. Something that like you don't have to... Like you don't even have to really... I guess it's two-sided, right? If you know about these Marvel things and you know these stories so well, it's fun to see, okay, how are they switching it up? But even if you don't, it's probably a fun watch either way.
Yeah, I think I'm looking. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't actually think I see Chris Evans here.
I didn't see his name on the list, but I didn't analyze every single one.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. So maybe because I know the first what... Well, no, he has... I don't know. I thought he had to
Peggy's be... on there.
He is, and I swear Feige said the first What If episode is Steve Rogers getting like an Iron Man suit. So... Maybe he just wasn't listed there. I don't know. I feel like he would be, but I don't know. So look out for that. But the other one that I think is fun, Josh Brolin's listed there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fun
Cable?
What if... yeah. What if Cable helped them?
What if Cable killed Thanos?
I don't know what it is, but I think there is same thing as Killmonger, what if Thanos sort of won sort of deal. Or like they didn't undo the snap.
Just him farming for a half an hour?
Yeah. What if he became a successful farmer? So... That's just super exciting. That's a fun series.
I am excited for that one.
And then...
what do you think? Like, how many episodes do we get? 20-minute episodes, 30-minute episodes, hour-long episodes?
Yeah, 20 to 30 minutes.
Different at, like, maybe... what was that show? Love, Death, Robots? Some of them are, like, 5 minutes. Some of them are 20 minutes. Like, just random.
I think they'll all be 20 to 30. And I could see
Do you think each episode will be a different kind of team behind it? Or is it kind of one team with... Like, I'm thinking art style-wise.
Okay, art style.
Like, do you think it'll be like the same kind of team making, animating all this stuff, or is it just like, here, you have an idea for this, go ahead, make it? Because that's kind of what Love, Death, Robots is. That's what I'm comparing this to.
It's tough, right? Because I feel the more artistic route is to go that way and have a bunch of people do it. But then I feel for branding, it's better to have like Pixar has a look, right? And you want maybe what if? So
sure.
I think if I had,
I guess this is Disney. It's not like they're not just throwing this to whoever.
If I had what I'd want the Love, Death, Robots route. But if I had a prediction, I think they'll all be the same. I think they'll be like 8 to 10 episodes. I think it'll be longer than the other shows because they'll be smaller episodes, easier to do voice acting.
I could like even see this show being something that's not even like, hey, here season 1 is coming out this time. It's like they could even just trickle out an episode or two randomly, right? If they have the streaming service, they have the ability to do that. That could be something like each month there's like a new episode. That could be fun.
Well, the thing is, we don't know. They haven't said these shows are going to be bingeable though. And the Mandalorian that's coming out with Star Wars, they said
that's a good point actually. Yeah.
Apparently, the word is we're just getting the first 2 episodes, and then
I mean they're probably not going to do it all at once, right? Yeah. Because you want to keep people talking for 2 months.
Oh, exactly. So.
For the podcast wise, I'm down with that. Do a little recap every week, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm always down to binge a show. I mean, I've done it many times, but at the same time, sometimes it's nice to not have to spend a whole weekend watching Jessica Jones season 2.
Then after that, the penultimate thing that was announced, fall 2021, Hawkeye. Gargantuan. They said Kate Bishop is confirmed to be in this, which I kind of thought because I know Hawkeye's daughter's there. I just didn't think they were going to go that route. Mm-hmm. So Kate Bishop's in it. And they also have the same Hawkeye logo as the Mark Fraction run, which is a really good Hawkeye run. Okay. It's just him dealing...
Is that related to her?
Yeah, that. And it's very down to earth. It's not the same storyline at all, but it's very similar to Daredevil, like a guy on the streets dealing with mafia, things like that. Broaden the action. It's really good. It might even be his best run ever, so I recommend you read that for Hawkeye. But the fact that they used that logo, and they also we're going to talk about Thor, they use comparisons to other comic book storylines. So they're still doing the whole, we're going to take stories that comic book fans love and adapt them. So I think this is great. I'm very excited for Hawkeye after what they did at Endgame. Yep. And
I have nothing to add. I'm equally excited.
Yeah. So read that Matt Fraction run. Really good.
That's cool that... the logo to me looked a little goofy, but if it's related to something, that's awesome. Yeah. I think they did a great job with all these logos. I think they're kind of fun. So.
And I still, because me and Taylor have always talked about it, and maybe we might do it with the Eternals, I still think at some point I always want to do a comic book club, like a book club show where when a big thing's come out, we all read a comic book and do that. Yeah. And I'd love you guys to read that Hawkeye one because it's a fun one.
Hey, I'm down.
You never know what the Geekverse is cooking. And then finally, which sucks because this was spoiled a little bit last week, so I think it would have had a bigger oomph if we didn't know about it, but Thor... Love and Thunder with, I think, maybe my favorite MCU logo ever. It's looking so cool. It's looking like He-Man 80s, kind of like Thor Ragnarok. It's gonna be based on the Almighty storyline. Natalie Portman's coming back, and I'm gonna say conflicting reports, but the thing is, I'll go with this now because there's a picture of her with the hammer, and then some people are saying she's in it, but then I saw other people saying she's playing Thor. So I'm just gonna go with she's playing Thor right now for conversation. This makes sense as far as the title Love and Thunder because he was still in Endgame. He was still hung up on Jane because when they brought up, he got all sad. I want you to go first because I don't want to spoil what you said to me in the chat, and then I'll respond to you.
Yeah. So I have there's kind of 2 sides to this Thor coin to me. One side is that I love Taika from Ragnarok and from What We Do in the Shadows. That's all I've seen from his. I want to go watch his other stuff though. From that, he's so unique, he's so interesting. So the fact that he's doing this movie, whatever it is, I'm just super in, and I'm there's a good chance I'll probably like it. I just love his humor. I think he's a hilarious guy. On this other side of that coin is I'm really split on Thor the character. I've really grown to love Thor over time, but I really don't like Thor 1, and Thor 2 is just an awful movie, or maybe that's an overstatement.
Awful for MCU
I really don't like it, and I don't really care. So because of that, I don't really care much for those characters and her character, by extension of that. So I don't know if she was like leading this movie as Lady Thor. I don't know. I think it's like once again, if it's Thor Ragnarok type humor, which obviously it will kind of be same director, writer, all that. So I think it'll be fun, but it's like, and I think it is a fun storyline. I just get bad vibes, right? We're going back to that vintage Thor stuff.
You need to see a trailer, I feel like, right? To be like to really kind of help you out.
That's why it's so hard because it's like when I flip it back and I see Taika's directing it, that's all I need to know, honestly, at this point in time. So I feel like I will like this movie. I just don't care much for her character, Yeah. And I don't like. I think inevitably before going into this movie, I'll have to rewatch the first 2 just to kind of get reestablished on her character. And I don't want to do that, but I have to at the same time. And I just don't like those 2.
1.5 speed.
I don't like those movies. Yeah, I'm gonna be watching on 1.5 at least.
This one's tough for me because this is a very different route. I did not think they were gonna. I honestly did not think they were ever going to do this storyline just because Natalie Portman was Jane, that when she was cast as Jane, this storyline, Almighty Thor, Lady Thor, was not a thing. So that wasn't like, one day she's going to become Thor. So I also have two sides of it. As far as I think the most rewatchable movie for me is Thor Ragnarok. So I think the comedy of Thor finding out Jane Foster is now Thor, I think they're going to knock that out of the park, and that's going to be really fun. Because if you don't know the story, Thor is now deemed unworthy. The hammer goes away, and all we know is because obviously in this realm, when the person picks up the hammer, they get like the Asgardian armor and everything like that. They're big and they're powerful. So you can't tell it's Jane Foster. You just know a lady has the hammer, and he has to go to all these ladies he's known in his life. He has to become like a little investigator, find out who has the hammer. I don't think they'll do that.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think they'll do that too a little bit. I think because obviously Natalie Portman's in it. I think the movie could start with them saying, "Oh, he's kind of wondering whatnot," and he doesn't have Mjolnir, so that's going to get reintroduced. So that's kind of fun. I don't know how that's going to go, but
where is Mjolnir at the end?
Kat brought it back to all the different universes because remember,
Right.
Hela destroyed it. So
yeah, it's in the other dimension.
So I don't know what's happening.
But Doctor
there.
Strange is gonna fuck with everything.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So maybe that's it.
He's gonna go back to Strange and be like, "Hey, I know you can teleport around. You've done it
yeah,
before."
I want Mjolnir. So with that, like I said, most rewatchable, one of maybe the funniest Thor movies, the funniest MCU movies. But I still had some character problems with what Taika did in there, as far as stuff with Loki, and not the problems with just. It was a little rush, and the Warriors 3 stuff, which is not great, but just the stuff he handled Asgard and whatnot. I also want to say, though, that is the burden of him taking on two films that he didn't do, right?
It's tough shoes to fill, for sure. That's a big storyline to do.
Yeah.
It's leading into stuff that's really important. You're having to bring back, like, Hulk, and it's a big plate.
He didn't set that stuff up, right? They told him come and do a job, and he took the opportunity. So I feel like this will be more of his vision from start to finish. So I'm going to kind of throw those cons to the side because you could say that's, a bad critic or a bad take. I'm just going to be more positive, and that's what I'm going to do. I want the best. So I hope
I agree in that sense. Like when I rewatch Ragnarok, I love some of the humor, but the story beats for me definitely are lacking. And I don't get any.
Rushed.
Yeah, I don't get anything on a rewatch in terms of like, oh, that's a cool detail I didn't notice. I just laugh at the jokes again. So I do understand that sentiment.
So I'm gonna throw it out, be optimistic, but I hope with Jane Foster, I don't think she will, and my prediction is I don't think she will be Thor from here on out. I think somehow this is going to be a way she will be Thor, but I don't know if there's always going to be, not Thor. I think the powers will somehow get transferred over to Valkyrie because Valkyrie's confirmed to be in this. Mm-hmm. They confirm she's going to be bisexual in this movie and not in a way where it's just a common in Thor Ragnarok. She'll probably actually have a girlfriend, which is a good idea because people are kind of mad. There was a scene.
They announced that today?
At the panel. Yeah, there was a scene in Thor Ragnarok where she was in bed with a lady, but they cut it and people are kind of mad about that. So I think they're like, we're going to go full on. She has a girlfriend, and they've said they want to be more diverse. So I think it'll start with Jane and maybe transfer over to Valkyrie. The thing that I love about the Jane Foster thing from the comics is when Thor is not with her anymore, she has a family, she has a husband and a kid. They die in a car accident. She's very down now. And then months later, she finds out she has breast cancer. So she's going through chemo. She gets the hammer. But what happens is, so whenever her is almost like turning on a switch where she's not Thor all the time. She picks up the hammer, she's Thor, or the Lady Thor gets the powers. When she does that, when she chooses to go save people, it purges all the toxin out of her body. So every time she chooses to save someone or be Thor, she takes her cancer down back to 0, and all that chemotherapy and everything is gone. So she's like making this huge sacrifice to put her life on the line, really to be Thor and die of cancer. Because the thing is, if she gets all of those toxins out, when she comes back to human, the cancer is just kind of getting worse because she's had no treatment for it. So I don't know if they'll do that because it's pretty heavy.
That's pretty dark, yeah.
But I would want that because I remember when that was revealed in the comics, that was just like a really like sad, heartbreaking twist to be like, man, this character needs to, like, literally every time they become a hero, they're putting their life on the line, like a risk. So the only thing they could do is because they started Guardians, Peter's mom had cancer, so they could do that, and that would be something really unique. And I think that could be, if they want to do some dramatic stuff and really because Hemsworth's a great actor, that could be a really touching scene of. And maybe that's why I think that could be the way to transfer the hammer over to Valkyrie of saying, I want to survive. I want to live from chemo, live a life, but I can't be Thor. You be Thor. And so there's some chances, some possibility here to be something great. And even then, some people might be like, oh, I don't know if I want Lady Thor. I would get that if Hemsworth was in this movie, but the fact that Hemsworth is back, I'm completely fine and I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I have to add? When I rewatch Ragnarok, I still don't care much for the character of Valkyrie. I just don't get much from her. But after seeing Men in Black, I really like Taika Tessa Thompson, so I'm excited to see more of that character. I want to see what she's up to.
She's the queen of New Asgard now, right?
Yeah,
Or king,
exactly. Yeah, so she has a really interesting spot, or I should say it's a really interesting spot for her character. I'm excited to find out more about her because that's a pretty relevant character to, Asgard, Thor, and all that world. As for that storyline, I don't know. I think that'd be interesting, but yeah, I do think it is pretty dark for Disney to do, and I feel like that's also... I don't know. It feels like it doesn't really fit in with like the MCU. Maybe it seems like a little strange of a storyline.
Maybe, but they're doing some weird stuff. Blade's a thing now,
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's it is a pretty strange time.
And the only thing is too, they did deal with Thor. Like Thor's big thing in Endgame was having depression, so they do have times where they are leaning into things like that. So I think there's a chance. Right,
but that's a little different though. I would say. Because some people see it as that in Endgame, but some people yes, that is the case, but then are also like just really jokey about it. So it's like, how seriously are they really taking that?
True.
So I don't know. We'll see. That's interesting. And then I guess the other interesting thing with Thor is like, what's up with him and the Guardians? Like, is this before Guardians?
I was just gonna end on this question.
Does he leave?
Yeah.
Is this timeline wise? Is this before or after somewhere? So that's kind of interesting because if they announced this and they just kind of said Guardians 3 is in development and obviously James Gunn's working on Suicide Squad 2 at some point before Thor at least.
Shooting next year, yeah.
Like this movie's probably coming out before Guardians, so what is going to happen there? Because I was kind of excited to see him in Guardians and I hope that does happen, but like what do they in Guardians? Are they just like, oh, I was gone for a couple months but I'm back, guys, and they continue on? Like what do they do there?
Yeah, I think there's two chances. There's the chance that you do... Well, there's three. There's a chance you do that where he was gone and comes back. I don't know if that works. There's the thing where I think the Guardians could be in this movie, and they're at the beginning of the movie, and somehow Thor gets word that there is a new Mjolnir, there's a new Thor, so he goes back to Earth to investigate. So I thought we always thought Thor was going to be in the Guardians movie. I think the Guardians is going to be in this Thor movie, because I always thought it was weird with Guardians Volume 3. If you look at those first two movies... They're so focused on those four characters and their journey. I always thought it was really weird for them. I think so. I just thought it was really weird for them to say, hey, guess what? James Gunn, the third one, we're adding Thor and you got to deal with that. I don't know. I've been saying that since Endgame that it always felt off to me. And especially because
I see Guardians more as like a bit of a rotating cast. Like you look at Nebula, she was like a villain in the first one. She kind of comes with like a main character. Yeah. Mantis comes out of nowhere, joins the second one. Yondu is gone. Like Gamora that we know is now gone.
But it's all people in that world though, and especially you got Rocket, Star.
But I think from Ragnarok, from the establishment of Endgame, like Thor fits into that really well, especially with like how jokey Ragnarok was, how comedic of a character he was in. I mean, there's dark moments in Endgame and stuff, but I still think overall he's more seen as a comedic character. Yeah. So I think he just fits really well into that world. And obviously he was the way he like through them is how he got kind of reintroduced back to what's going on with the storyline.
That's why I think I could flip it and say that they fit really well in his movie, and that's why I think they're going to go that route. Because if you look at Thor 1, had Doctor Strange.
I just think it's like a lot more to bring all of these characters into Thor instead of just bringing one character from the Thor movies, the man himself, into their world.
It is, but if we don't get a Guardians happening for quite a while, it's not supposed to at least come out maybe 2022, 2023. Yeah. They're not doing anything.
I know. I guess I just I'm just really... I really want, as Guardians of the Galaxy, I really want Thor to just join in with them for a movie. Like, I don't think he needs to always be there. I think one movie is fine, even if he's only in there for half the movie. But I hope he finds his way back to them, because I just want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see what James Gunn would do with that as well.
That's going to be a hard prediction. It's not going to happen. Guardians 3 will not have...
Yeah, so that kind of bums me out a bit.
Yeah.
So...
You can maybe Guardians 4.
This Thor news is definitely like... there's so many things I really like and some things I really don't like. So, I don't know. It's really interesting to me, though. So, I can't wait to find out more about this one.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for it. That's my hard read, though, that I think Guardians will be in them. He'll be in space. And then, we'll see. It's we got a lot of stuff coming.
I have one question for you. This is going back way to the first topic. But, okay, Fantastic Four. Where do you think the first time we see them is? Like, is it an post-credit scene? Is it like a Feige announcement? Is it a Comic-Con? And when do you think we next hear about them?
Well, I don't... Yeah, that's weird, because I guess they did announce Spider-Man being in Civil War. I think it's like that, because I really do think they're not going to get a movie first. They're going to get introduced, and the thing is, do they...
Yeah, do they announce it? Is it like a surprise? Do you think they say...
I think
hey, if you want to see the Fantastic Four, check out this movie, and then they're going to have their own.
I think they have to announce it because I think just with Hollywood, if someone's cast as Reed Richards, that will leak. Look at the Thor news that came out. So I think they will announce it or it will come out. As far as this late...
Unless they like try to hide it. Like
a certain cameo that happened in Spider-Man.
Yeah, that or even like the way they kind of did MJ in Spider-Man. I mean, that's a different character. It's not Mary Jane Watson. But that even leaked
beforehand. I don't know if you remember that, but that did come out that she was playing Mary Jane, right? So
you're right.
I don't think you get anything Fantastic Four in these movies. I think Black Panther 2 is a perfect place to put somebody. I think like a Reed Richards. I think we could
from a science perspective.
Yeah, I think
go to Wakanda.
Has a meeting with Shuri, something like that. You know, like in some science convention.
Yeah, or like T'Challa just goes to talk to Shuri. He's in the lab. Yeah. They're working on something. And then they're working on Vision.
And then the post-credit scene is Reed Richards getting ready to go into space or something like that. You know, I think that's the way you do it. And then who knows? But I don't think in any of these movies, Fantastic Four, because like look, a Black Widow prequel, Eternals pretty much a prequel, Shang-Chi. I don't think anything in Shang-Chi would be Reed Richards or Fantastic Four,
I don't know
right?
anything about that character. No one does.
Yeah, so Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, no. That has already so much going on. So the only one would be Thor, and now that we've already talked about that, sounds pretty packed, right? So I think Black Panther, or because you got, they've dealt with Kree and Skrulls before, Fantastic Four, Captain Marvel 2, another place.
Yeah, that's actually a really good thought.
Yeah.
I like that. That's going to be my number one pick, right?
Yeah.
I think it is definitely... If I'm going to go with first pick, first prediction is post-credit scene, but then I think that it is possible that he, like one of the characters, probably Reed himself, would be just kind of chilling in one of these movies.
What if, spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home, so if you've not seen it, tune out because
we probably should have said that earlier, but I mean...
I've listened.
We just kind of assume spoilers for these kind of things.
We've said some stuff that I think is
if you care what's happening in Phase 4, you've seen everything from Phase 3. So.
I think I agree to that. So Nick Fury is up in space, right?
Yeah,
what if these great scientists, Fantastic Four, all of them, and not all of them, because Johnny Storm is just a fucking bad boy, but. What if they're going up there to meet Fury and they get caught in a cosmic storm while trying to go up there to help out with Sword? Or maybe it's the reverse where they go up there, they're in Captain Marvel 2 helping Nick Fury out, but then when they go back, that's when it goes bad for them and they get hit with their cosmic stuff. I think Captain Marvel 2 is actually a really prime spot. And Nick Fury being up there.
Yeah, that's a really good thought.
Yeah, and they've had a history with Kree and Skrulls
and that could
before.
be fun dynamic for Nick because, he was kind of controlling the Avengers, but... I feel like more and more as time went on, people were just kind of doing their own thing regardless of him.
Yeah.
So that could be fun for him to try and get back in like the captain's position where he's kind of leading them around.
Yeah, and it'd be kind of a meta thing of, he introduced, like he was in Iron Man 1, if he's kind of having interactions with the Marvel's first family and stuff like that. So
and just see like how differently he does it, like leading the team. That could be fun.
I think we cracked the code. We're probably completely wrong because I never thought Blade was happening.
Mark it down because I called this Scarlet Witch. I didn't call the Doctor Strange Scarlet Witch thing, but I wanted it.
You said it before anyone else said it. I never heard anyone else say it, so there you go.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I guess the one other thing is they didn't mention Spidey at all. Do we rights wise we don't really know.
We still don't know, and I thought we would know after today.
So I mean, yes, the movie literally came out this month, so when the next one would happen would probably be at least 2 years away. But the thing is if it's Spidey, I feel like they're gonna be if they have the rights, I think they are gonna continue doing them like pretty close to each other. Like I think every 2 years because it's like at this point, without these big Avengers movies, getting rid of Iron Man, getting rid of Cap, like really some of your heavy hitters are gone. They still need to hit those box office numbers. You're not going to be doing it with Eternals and Shang-Chi, I don't think. So you still need Spider-Man in the mix, I think, for them, just in terms of bringing in those sales. He's like guaranteed, right?
He is, but this is what I'm going to lay on you. So Spider-Man Homecoming, 2017. This movie, 2019. The next ideal date would be 2021. They've always done 2 years apart. 2021, you got Shang-Chi, WandaVision, Doctor Strange, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, and Thor, Love and Thunder. That's seven already.
It's true, especially
that's
if, like,
crammed
with
year.
the TV shows being so integrated with the movies. It's like on paper you're like, oh, there's not 3 movies there, and they've been doing that for the last couple of years. But with these TV shows, that really changes things.
It's fine though. I figured it out because look, that they might do 4 a year because Shang-Chi's February, Doctor Strange is May. Thor is in November. Spidey's always come out in July.
Wait, Thor has a date? I didn't notice
November 5th, 2021.
Oh, shit.
Spidey has always come out in July. The only thing they have in summer is the What If show. So I think the only reason they haven't announced is because they
heavy year, but
but I think the only reason they haven't announced is because they got a signed contract. So I think they are leaving the summer open for that. because Loki
last year they did Ant-Man and Wasp in the summer.
Yeah.
And then
July,
this year they did Mysterio. Yeah. Mysterio.
So I think it's happening. I think they're going to get Spidey in July.
And they just can't really talk about it
because they probably haven't even signed the thing.
Yeah, and even then, maybe there's something in the contract. Sony has to be, involved with the announcements of things like this.
Yeah, pick an exact date.
Look at them when they're fucking posters and shit.
Yeah, I think that's it. That makes sense. Hawkeye's in fall, Loki and WandaVision's in spring. Yeah.
Yeah, because I really think Spidey's one they're going to, assuming they have the rights, I think that's one they're going to want to be milking a lot. So
you heard it there. Spider 3's in July and Fantastic Four and Captain Marvel. Those are our reads. Those are
interesting. So no Avengers,
nope.
Young Avengers, Dark Avengers,
nothing. Yeah,
backwards Avengers, upside down Avengers.
Screw everybody that thought that. We talked about on the show, but I just never think they're gonna do 3 movies called Avengers. I don't think that's Feige's style. I really don't. We'll get another.
But we didn't
Avengers.
even get one. You know what I mean?
I know, not even one. So we're a ways away, but. This is fun.
That between that and just having a 24 hours worth of Ultimate Alliance, fucking Marvel content's just on the rise.
Oh
right
yeah.
now. Well, not on the rise. It's peaking hard.
Yeah, and just keeps going.
Interesting.
Well,
what a panel!
You have anything to say?
What a flaming panel! That was great.
Well, thanks for joining me because I know you. Big shout out to Dylan because he set up the whole 24-hour stream. He did that. He's a computer whiz, and then you're the only one here. Everyone else is tired, this, that, but you're with me in the trenches. So
24-hour stream means you deserve a couple days off, but at the same time, we got to talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
so.
no spoilers, but fuck Thane. We
fuck Thane.
Go. He's a
check out. Yeah, go check out our Ultimate Alliance stream. It was a fun one.
Yeah. So thank you very much for tuning this cast. Whoa, big thigh slap. If you like what we did here, just head down the description below. You have our video feeds. You have our audio feeds. Everywhere, and if you really like what we did, leave us a subscription. Well, do a subscription, but also leave us a review on Apple. Give us a written one; those ones that help. We're trying to get to 200 reviews, and then next week we go out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Also, we have the last 4 movies of Tarantino releasing, so that's Death Proof, Django, Bastards, and Hateful Eight. So that's popping out. So
and the Ultimate Alliance review at some point.
Yeah,
don't know when. We got to figure that out, and then. We'll probably do another stream or 2, I'm thinking, in August, just for the game. Not 24-hour, don't get me wrong, but just playing for a couple hours. So make sure to tune into those because they're fun and request some characters, all that jazz. Yeah.
So, thank you for the stream. Thank you for tuning this weekend. We did some great numbers, and we hope you enjoy this episode. And stay tuned because all these movies, TV shows, we're going to be here talking about them. We can't wait.
It's been a fun July. Thanks, everyone.
Blade. I against I. We promise you it won't be boring.
Peace out.